Today we're making chicken curry. Okay, so tonight we're making the chicken curry. So here are the ingredients. I've got some vegetable oil, an onion, 3 cloves of garlic, some ginger, and then some curry powder, cumin, coriander, turmeric, chili powder, some chicken. I've mixed the dry ingredients together and I've put half of that onto the chicken, and I let that sit around for a while I prepared everything else. So that could sit for a day, or even, for the day or the afternoon, but as long as you can, let that soak in. Okay, so now we're gonna fry off the onions. That's the first step. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of oil into my pan. A bit more. Just let that get hot for a minute. The onions going. So we want the onions to go just like everything else, like making chili or anything else. We want the onions to go slow and for about 5 minutes until they get really nice and soft and kind of translucent. Okay. So while the onions are frying away, I'm going to come and chop up my garlic. So my garlic, we just need it kind of roughly chopped as much as you can. Chop that up a little bit more. And we also want our ginger. So here's a nice big chunk of ginger, like thumb size, and I've peeled it with a vegetable peeler. And I'm going to run it down the grater. Keep moving it around. So ginger is full of these fibers that we don't want in our food, but they are edible. They won't hurt you. But they kind of come out when we grate it. So just let all those fibers fall out. And on the inside, should have some nice grated ginger. Okay, so we'll add that to the onions soon. Okay, so my onions have been going for a while. They're actually starting to brown a little bit, so I don't want that. So just kind of keep an eye on, but they're getting nice and soft and cooked. So I'm going to add the garlic and the ginger. Now, the garlic and the ginger both will burn quite easily, so we want to keep the heat low. We just want this step to be just a minute or so. As soon as it starts smelling really strong, then that's all we want. So I'm just going to push this around for about a minute. Okay, so it's maybe not even been a minute yet, but I don't like the garlic to cook too much at this stage. So I'm going to do the next thing, and that's pour in the rest of our spice. So we poured some on the chicken earlier, and this is the rest. We're going to mix that in. We really only want this to go for about a minute. We're kind of toasting the spices. It brings out their flavor a little bit. So just spread it around in the pan, let them pick up the heat. It's starting to smell really strong. Now I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit to about medium and get ready to put the chicken in. I think that's pretty good, smelling really good and tasty. And it's all mixed in really well. So put the chicken in. Spread that out. Here it's going a little slow, so I'm going to just turn the heat up to get it going. We don't really want it too hot because we don't want to burn all the spices. Now what we're going to do is just kind of let the chicken brown a little bit until it's kind of white on all the sides, all the pink is gone. And then we'll add the next ingredients. So keep stirring, don't let the little bits burn. Keep the heat at a reasonable rate. So I'm pretty happy with this now. I don't see any pink bits of the chicken left on the outside. And starting to get kind of dry on the bottom. So I'm going to move on to the next phase. And that's put the chopped tomatoes in. So I've turned the heat down already, all the way down to low before I pour this liquid in. And I'll stir that through. And we're going to let this go for 10 minutes. So I've got the heat down really low. And if this gets too dry, I'm going to come back and add a bit of water. Okay, we're still cooking. This is a really important phase because, of course, the chicken was not fully cooked before when we were frying it. So we've got to have this 10 minutes of the chicken really cooking. And the sauce is reducing and all the flavors are blending. So this is it simmering away. We've been about 5 minutes into the cycle. We don't want to stir it too much because that disturbs the simmering. So we'll let this kind of liquid come to the top and just make sure that it's not dry on the bottom of the pan, and try not to stir it too frequently. Okay, so we've been cooking for 10 minutes. I'm really happy with this. The color is really nice. It's deep and rich. All the flavors are going, and look, when I tilt the pan, the liquids are getting quite thin on top, so my sauce is getting really nice and thick as well. So I'm happy with that. So we'll move on to the next step, and that's to add the coconut milk. So this will make it taste really nice and authentic. Authentic, and it's also very yummy. So we'll add that in, get it mixed in really well, and then we're going to cook for another 10 to 15 minutes until the sauce is all really nice and thick. And I've also got a little bit of salt and sugar that I'm going to add. It's in the recipe. You can see in the comments. Right, so once this is nice and mixed, get it back to the simmer like it was before. And again, leave it for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, we've gone our time, and I've actually cooked it a little longer because I wanted the sauce to thicken up a bit more. I've just turned it off. You can see it's starting to slow down and the sauce is nice and thick. Now we're just going to let this sit for a while to cool while all the liquids will kind of reabsorb into the meat. And we made this earlier today, so this has been sitting and cooling for a while, and you can see the liquid has kind of reabsorbed into the meat and the vegetables, bringing all the flavor onto the inside of the meat, so it's really nice and thick. So we've got that ready. I'll warm that up a little bit. Meanwhile, I've got rice done over here, and this is 160 grams of rice and 320 milliliters of water. So I do 1 to 2 for this. And that's simmered on the stove covered for exactly 15 minutes. It's perfect, ready to go. I'll let that sit and steam, just cool off for a few minutes. And while I warm this back up, we'll serve it up on a plate.